Just play, have fun, and enjoy the game. Michael Jordan. There are many ways that people may take this quote by Michael Jordan, but it is a very true statement when I think about pay to play in public schools. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is Sydney local schools. Unfortunately, many of us know that Sydney schools aren't getting the levies passed that they need to in order for their students to play without paying. I understand that many families in the Sydney school area don't have children that play sports, but I believe that all schools need sports. For some reasons that I believe that schools need sports are for students to have a reason to get good grades. If you're in a sport, you must get good grades and to be eligible to play. Another reason is for students to look forward to going to school and doing good, to hopefully get good scholarships, to go on and go to college. If it wasn't for sports, half of the scholarships that are given out would never be given out. Yes, people go to college for scholarships on good grades or, fantastic attendance and stuff like that. They do get scholarships for that stuff, but many people get scholarships for sports, and I believe that is a fantastic way for the community and for the school to give the students what they deserve and to give them a little bit of money to help them go to college, because we all know that college is not cheap today. And also, I believe that public schools should have sports because of the entertainment to the community. I know my family personally is a very sports-oriented family. If it wasn't for football, basketball, baseball, track, any of that, every Friday night we go to a game. It doesn't matter if it's a football game. It doesn't matter if it's pouring down raining. We will be at that game. And then in the wintertime, it goes into boys basketball, girls basketball. We are a very family-oriented and sports-oriented family. So we get the whole family together, and I believe that is a great way for our family to communicate and to also just have a good time on the weekends. Also, I believe that pay to play is wrong because that's not the only thing that the parents have to pay for. There's other costs for the parents of students that play sports. Even if the levy does pass, public schools are no longer free. And what I mean by that is that after the government put cuts on public schools, the public schools had no other way of getting money but to tell parents, hey, you're going to have to pay for what we can't pay for. The parents had to pick up the cost of what the school no longer had from the government. These include book fees, lunch money going up, equipment for sports, parking passes, and many more that I'm sure you guys can think of. With that being said, sports are never really completely free. The family usually has some type of expense if their child is in sports. So if you add the pay-to-play plan, there are so many families out there that aren't going to be able to afford their students to play sports. Some of these expenses to the family of a child being in sports are shoes, jerseys, pads, helmets, warm-ups. Usually all sport teams have matching warm-ups and you have to buy them. And even such things as medical bills. We all know that medical bills are very, very expensive, and unfortunately my family has experienced that with me being in high school sports, which I will talk about a little later. My high school sports experience, I was lucky enough to go to an amazing high school, that never hardly had a levy fail. This high school was Fort Laramie, and it is a very small community that works together for the best of their students. I believe that Fort Laramie, yes, it may cost the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, uncles of the students going to Fort Laramie, it may cost them a little more money to live in Fort Laramie, but they know that they are in a good community, and they know that us students at the high school and the elementary are getting good education and being able to play as many sports as we want to. When I went to high school, I ran cross country and track and field all 4 years, and I was lucky enough to play basketball for 2 years. With that being said, I am very, very thankful that Laramie doesn't have a pay to play, because I know for a fact that there is no way I would be able to be in them sports if it was a pay to play. The reason why I say that my family would not be able to afford this is because, one, I live with a single parent dad. I have a brother, an older brother and an older sister, and I know that whenever we went through high school, he had a hard time giving us lunch money, giving us money to go play sports, but he knew that was best for us, and he knew that's what we wanted to do, so he made it work. But I know that if he had more costs with the pay to play, there was no way that we'd be able to play all the sports that we wanted to. I would probably have to pick in between one. Like I said earlier, with the medical bills, I unfortunately had many medical bills around my junior and senior year, and this is one reason why I quit basketball. I was my sophomore year in track. I ran hurdles, and unfortunately I slipped and caught my leg on a hurdle and tumbled. Well, after walking on my leg for a couple of days and it hurting, telling the coach, oh no, I'm fine, telling my parents I'm okay because I want to keep on running in track. I want to place in regionals. I want to go to state. I kept on blowing it off. Well, I was able to make it to regional finals in 100-meter hurdles, and I definitely had a lot of pain on my ankle, but, I was just going to blow it off. It'll heal by itself. Don't tell anyone. I'm going to make it to state. I'm going to do good. And I took off, and I heard a snap. Well, unfortunately, then my race was over for regional finals. I did not make it to state because I was disqualified. At that moment, I went into the rescue squad and I went to the emergency room where they told me that my ankle was broken in 3 spots and I tore ligaments and I was going to have immediate surgery. Well, after bawling my eyes out, saying I'm never going to have a career in track again, my dad considered, you after surgery, you get therapy, you do what you have to do to go back and play cross country that next fall. So throughout that whole summer, I went through intense therapy and got my ankle strong, got my foot all better, and started running cross country. It did great, and I am so thankful for my dad to not only pay the medical bills, but to tell me, you know what, you need physical therapy, you need sports therapy, you need all the therapy that you can get in order to play. So that was my sophomore year. I decided to run cross country my junior year in fall. And in that winter, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to play basketball anymore. That's just one more hard thing on my ankle. So I stuck with track and cross country. So in conclusion, as you guys can all tell, that I am against the pay-to-play program because it limits a lot of students to even be able to play sports. And also, with that being said, my cross country and track teams, they're like my second family. Still to this day, we text, we call each other, we email. However, we can get a hold of each other whenever everyone's home. We hang out. They are like my family. And I believe that you can't put a price on the friendships that you make while being in sports. Thank you.